What are you reading Wednesday? Not you, Wednesday. What are you reading? Let me know in the comments because I'm curious. I'm reading 4 books. First I'm going to tell you about is Monday and Mayhem, a book with so many similes. It read like a thesaurus had fallen down a staircase, made of metaphors, bounced off a poetry degree and landed face first in a comparison buffet. Everything is a simile. Silence is like a guillotine. Monday and Mayhem is written by Gabriel Zoderot, a Slovakian. It's set in a fantasy town of Rokotin, where nothing much happens, particularly on Monday. So there's this illegal fight club going on. The only rules are you fight until one yields, passes out, or passes on, although they're not supposed to pass on. The tavern champion is Kon, and he's fighting with the carpenter Radko. But unfortunately, Radko slips on a sticky floor, and instead of Kon aiming to wind him, Kon's fist strikes his skull, and Radko is dead. This wasn't supposed to happen. The barkeep and Kon and the others are very worried about what's going to happen, whether they'll be strung up because of this incident, this accident. They decide to create some lies, to blame it on a barbarian who'd been there earlier. Then they stir up their fellow citizens to go and raid the barbarian camp, saying that this was the barbarian's fault, and lies pile upon lies like this Tower of Babel. It's an interesting read. There are, as I said, so many similes and metaphors in the language. It's grim, dark fantasy. I'm also reading Down Under by Bill Bryson. I've read the first 100 or so pages. Currently he's in Canberra, probably the most boring capital city in the world. It's a city created to be a capital, so that as a compromise between the rivalry of Sydney and Melbourne, but it's all laid out on this big park thing, and it's difficult to tell where the city centre is. Bill Bryson has his own comedic way of telling about his travels. He travels also from Sydney across to Perth on the Indian Pacific Railway, and there's a lot of interesting observations here. I'm plodding very slowly through the Voyage of the Beagle. It took Darwin about 5 years to go around the world in the Beagle. It'll probably take me about 5 years to get through it at this rate. I'm only on page 40. This is part travelogue, part scientific notebook. It's Darwin's accounts of the expedition. Currently, I'm up to where he's in what's now modern-day Uruguay. He's been in Montevideo. This expedition shaped his thinking on natural selection. It's reflective, it's detailed, fascinating, both as a historic document about the natural history, the fauna of the places he visits, and a record of his mind forming his ideas about evolution. And finally, I'm reading Night Watchman by Louise Erdrich. This was inspired by her grandfather. It's historical fiction set in the 1950s. It won the Pulitzer Prize in 2021. The Night Watchman of the title in the book is called Thomas, and he finds out about a new bill that's going to go through Congress, which is called the Emancipation Bill, but this is really a double speak for a termination bill, which will push the Chippewa off their lands. And Thomas is Chippewa. He works as a night watchman in a factory where most of the staff are Chippewa. One is Thomas's niece, Patrice, sometimes called Pixie, but she doesn't like that. Patrice takes some time off to go into Minneapolis to try to look for her sister Vera, who's disappeared. The book is about the treatment of the Native Americans, particularly in the 1950s, but this treatment goes back much further into the history of America. It's a fascinating read. Louise Erdrich builds these great characters, and I'm enjoying it so far. So those are the books I'm reading. Let me know in the comments below what you're reading. I'm nosy. I'm interested to see what other people are reading. Look for future recommendations or future books to avoid if you're not enjoying them. And goodbye. See you on the next video.